Muy buenas, soy Rico y vengo a presentaros todas las misiones de Cuatro Colinas. Me gustaría empezar diciendo que los vídeos van a ser un poco largos porque abarco todas las misiones, tanto primaria como secundaria. Al hacer vídeos tan largos, simplemente lo que iré haciendo es remarcando algunas cosas o algunos detalles de las misiones más difíciles, más complicadas, porque hay algunas misiones que son tonterías, pero hay otras que sí que hay que currárselo bien. Y dicho esto, os dejo con el vídeo.
My family have held our vigil over these majestic swathes of countryside for generations. My roots are deep here, and the success and survival of Cuatro Colinas Game Reserve is my primary responsibility. And now, my old friend, we are reunited. It's been a long time since we last worked together, but I know you're going to be essential to my plans for the future. I trust that you slept well last night and you're ready for your Castilian adventure. After all these years of promising to show you Cuatro Colinas, your first day on the reserve has arrived. It means a great deal to me that you made this journey. I have every confidence that you're going to love hunting here. The first thing I would like you to do is to experience the sublime Bosque Vista, not far from where you're standing just now. From atop the vista, one has a splendid perspective of the reserve. This view includes one of our magnificent outposts, which I recommend you visit when you get the chance. I know a rugged outdoor explorer like you doesn't need to spend the night in the luxury of a castillo, but you do have all of our visitors' outposts at your disposal. My mother and father had all of these lodges built over the last 35 years. The lodge you are looking for is called Casa Alfonso. To modernize the reserve, we have recently updated the interiors of all of our lodges. We kept the original stone cladding though. The contrast in styles is pure magic. Te doy la bienvenida a Cuatro Colinas, my friend. I hope you like the view. Standing here, you are following in the footsteps of Spanish dukes and kings, as well as every generation of my family for the past 3 centuries.
Aquí en este punto me gustaría recalcar que todos, al empezar un mapa, nos ponen un animal para que lo matemos del tirón, ¿vale? Y aquí tenemos el mío.
When you have sampled enough of the view, take the walk down to the outpost. Didn't forget the lodge key in the castillo. Excellent. Casa Alfonso is back in business. As with any other lodge on the reserve, please feel free to use it as your base of operations. Now that you have a base camp, should you need it, I want to show you the most magical part of the reserve. There are some parts of Cuatro Colinas that only a select few know about. I'm taking you to a place where the views are magnificent and the hunting is even better. There, I've sent you the coordinates for the trailhead that leads to this divine setting. Normally, I would insist on being there with you while you experience it, but I don't want you to miss it. I encourage you to hunt as much as you'd like. You are undoubtedly keen to become familiar with the rolling hills, steep ascents, and your wily prey. You should search for animal tracks. I know you have experience, but one should utilize every advantage when taking on the cunning beasts of Cuatro Colinas. Of course, if you're lucky, you'll probably hear something, just from walking through that part of the reserve. The hunter I knew didn't rely on luck, though. I recall that you used to have wonderful hearing. Is that still true? Or have your years gotten the better of you?
Otra cosa muy importante de este juego y sus misiones es que las misiones te envían donde siempre hay animales y a uno de los mejores sitios de esa zona, ¿vale? Luego lo demás te buscas tu vida y todo, pero las misiones te ayudan porque te envían a sitios donde hay muy buenos animales. Y no quiere decir con muy buenos animales que sean diamantes ni nada. Simplemente que hay mucha cantidad o gran cantidad de animales. Una buena zona de caza. Así que eso es una cosa que deberéis de aprovechar e intentar guardarlo para vosotros. Decir, mira, me ha mandado aquí hay cierto animal. Luego cuando terminéis la misión os dais una vueltecita y os aseguro yo que por ahí vais a encontrar animales. Y no uno, sino diferentes especies.
Recently, I've only come here to meditate. It is so ethereal and serene, even when the rain is falling. When I first invited you to visit, I assumed that I would be coming home to host you as a visitor, spending time here before traveling abroad once again. With my return being prompted by my mother's passing instead, my focus has been entirely on work, instead of enjoying the very places that bring me comfort. I am pleased that I was able to show you this. In a way, I got to experience it vicariously. Of course, it's also one of our best spots to go hunting. I've never gone on a hunt out there and returned home empty-handed. If you are able to pull yourself away from the tranquil beauty of the cove, there are many other wonderful sights for you to see. Senor Baden, our company for last night, appears to be enjoying his time here as well. He's a unique fellow, but quite charming in his own way. When I mentioned that I had hired you as a professional hunter, he seemed a little bothered. He then proceeded to inform me of some hunting accolades that he has received during his career as a hunter. Until recently, I put his candor down to the sangria, but he seems equally enthusiastic in his self-promotion, even with a clear head. Apparently, he has harvested a pair of ibex already. I think someone is trying to market themselves as a worthy competitor. I think it's time for you to remind me what you can do. I'd like for you to harvest an animal. Any animal. Once you're done, let me know, and I'll inform Senor Baden that he has a little competition. When I first returned to help run the reserve after my time away, these were the places I wanted to be. Places that reminded me of my mother. Just a short way down the cove, there is another splendid view. I recommend it. designated spot and grab those binoculars. It's always worth planning your approach. So spot what you want to hunt before you start to creep closer. Take your time with the shot. If you've made the effort to get close, don't ruin it by rushing the last step.
Otra cosa que me gustaría añadir por aquí es que no tengáis miedo a romper ningún animal. Simplemente pase una misión o cualquier cosa, o estáis subiendo de nivel porque lo necesitáis y no tenéis la munición adecuada, cualquier cosa. Mientras la misión nos diga que tiene que pasar los controles para que dé la puntuación necesaria de ese animal, no tenéis problema en romperlo. No tengáis problema en romperlo porque es una misión, es algo que os va a dar mucha experiencia y algo que necesitáis para subir de nivel o para ganar ese dinero o para terminar las misiones, que viene siempre bien.
CUATRO Colinas is mostly composed of my family's estate, but includes several tracts of public land with public roads. Because I'm overseeing the reserve, I need to work with the local government to ensure that the public roads are kept safe. There is a stretch of road in particular that is extremely dangerous. It has a steep cliff on one side, and drivers need to slow right down or risk a perilous drop. Until recently, we had road signs warning approaching drivers of the danger. I mention this to you because these signs have suddenly disappeared, as if by magic, and I need you to replace them. I know that this would normally be a hunter's job, but I have asked the mayor to take care of it, and he told me that I have to wait a month for him to send a crew. I'd have my handyman Julio deal with it, but the poor old soul is laid up in bed with pneumonia. I was able to go into town and retrieve some replacements. Unfortunately, I was in a rush and had to attend a meeting, so I wasn't able to put them up. A blood trail. With any luck, you won't have to chase the bleeding creature for long. If it's suffering, we need to take care of things quickly. You're in the right spot. I left the signs so you'd be able to find them easily. Once you've retrieved the signs, there are poles about 30 meters from the bend in either direction. Attach the signs to the poles. This isn't even the first time this has happened. I've heard of drunk people stealing traffic cones, but this must be something else. For now, though, we have something else to take care of. My neighbor Manuel is a goat herd who has been raising goats here for 25 years, and one of his goats has gone missing. Apparently, it is his favorite, Paloma. This might seem like a small concern, but he has assisted my family on many occasions. I want to repay his kindness. Manuel has told me of an isolated tree that Paloma uses to hide from the rain. Perhaps that's a good place to start your search. It stands on its own, so it should be easy to find.
Bueno, en este punto me gustaría recalcar lo que he dicho antes, de que las misiones te llevan donde hay muy buenas zonas de caza. Buenas zonas de caza significa que hay mucho animal, ¿vale? Y dentro de haber mucho animal, sube la probabilidad de que haya un diamante, de que haya un color o que haya cualquier pieza mejor, simplemente porque hay mucho animal. Así que apuntaros la zona donde envíen en cada mapa, a cada misión, o echarle una fotito con el móvil, cualquier cosa, que eso ahora es muy fácil, para que no se os olvide. Y ahí tenéis buenas zonas de caza. Vais buscando abrevadero, comedero, lo que queráis, y ya vais viendo qué animal hay por ahí, si os conviene ir a esa zona o no, pero que sepáis que zona donde te envíen, zona donde va a haber buena caza. Otra cosa que me gustaría decir es pedir perdón por algunos disparos que voy a hacer simplemente porque he empezado del principio y no recordaba lo que era disparar con la mira primera. Es algo a lo que nunca te acabas de acostumbrar porque al nivel X cambias de mira. y esas miras no las vuelves a poner en la vida, a no ser que te hayas comprado la visión nocturna y te ponga la mira de visión nocturna, cosa que yo ni me pongo. Yo simplemente utilizo los prismáticos, lo marco, luego cambio rápido de arma y disparo. Primer diamante donde me ha llevado el juego a una zona para hacer una misión. A veces nos lo ponen delante, simplemente vemos un animal, le disparamos y el diamante se va. A lo mejor lo tenéis por ahí, pero se os ha ido porque habéis disparado lo primero que habéis visto, en vez de mirar, seleccionar y luego disparar. Con eso me refiero a darte aunque sea una vueltecita a ver qué tienes alrededor. O si algún animal te está escondido detrás de un árbol, detrás de un arbusto, esas cosillas.
You're getting close to the tree that Manuel mentioned. Can you see any sign of Paloma? I will be sure to take a trip to visit Manuel this evening, so I can inform him in person. I will take some flowers. The body, it appears that she was killed and then abandoned. Surprising behavior for a predator. Are there any clues as to what did this? These prints were left by a wolf, but this is strange behavior. The wolves tend not to take prey from this part of the reserve.
Otra cosa que recomiendo es si ves algún animal y está subiendo de nivel, mátalo. Mata a ese, mata al que tenga al lado y a los que te vengan por delante, a los que te vengan por el lado, porque necesitas subir de nivel, que es lo más importante para poder desbloquear las habilidades y las ventajas. Una vez que tengas el nivel máximo, entonces ya podrás empezar a cuidar tu mapa, que lógicamente puedes hacerlo antes, pero te aconsejo que lo primero que hagas es subir de nivel porque necesitas muchas habilidades. Y eso de cuidar el mapa, eso vendrá en otro vídeo que traeremos dentro de poco, yo y Balofi, enseñando cómo manejar las manchas rojas que dejáis después de matar, cómo hacer para respawnear animales para que te salgan de mayor calidad, me refiero, para que te salgan de mayor tamaño, de diferentes colores, que no es algo que sea muy fácil, que no es fácil, es algo que te tienes que acostumbrar y seguramente tendrás que quitar alguna forma tuya de cazar, pero es algo que te va a venir muy bien si quieres respawnear tanto para Grid One, como para colores, como para que te gusta mucho ese animal, como me pasa a mí con el ciervo común, y quieras matar 50.000 diamantes. Pues ahí os enseñaremos la manera, ¿vale?
Disappearing road signs rose like human teeth. These are not the sort of events I expected out here. At least, they never used to be. taking over responsibility for the reserve from my father while he gets better, I have started to realize just how much effort goes into maintaining Cuatro Colinas. Vista España are quite determined to have a meeting with my father, but he is in no position to negotiate a deal at the moment. I find myself too busy with the small tasks of running the reserve, making it impossible to deal with anything else. I had planned to take him to visit my mother's memorial today. A close family friend, Padre Abbas, has made a wreath and offered to go in our stead. I wonder if he got a chance to visit. He's a busy man too. He spends most of his free time exploring the reserve when he isn't stopping by to visit us at the Castillo. I don't know if he will get an opportunity to visit the memorial today, and I know that I won't get a chance for at least a week. She deserves better. I should be up there now, instead of meeting with lawyers and accountants. I know that bureaucracy is necessary to run a game reserve, but it all seems trivial when compared to taking care of my family. Even though she's gone, I still feel a sense of duty. I apologize. You don't need to hear this. I should get back to work. The memorial. He did not have to travel up there on my behalf, but I am very grateful for the picture. Padre made the trip after all, it seems. His wreaths are so beautiful, don't you think? He makes them from wild flowers that he finds on his travels. My mother used to make them too. She was such a wonderful person. She always tried to get the most out of every day. She never seemed to rest. It's a shame that you never met her. I think you two would have got on well. She loved walking those trails as much as anyone else I've ever met. My father used to joke that she only married him so she could spend her weekends with us. Since we lost her, I've been trying to keep it together here, but I honestly don't know if I'm doing enough. I thought that revitalizing the outpost would help, but we need more.
Si me estáis viendo asustado y apuntando hacia ciertos lugares, dentro de poco lo entenderéis.
His counsel has been invaluable. I want to thank him for his support. He's putting a book together, and I think we can help him with his work. I have told him how to get in touch with you. I take it as a personal favor if you helped him out. He doesn't ask for anything from me, but I want to pay him back. However, Padre Abbas is far from the only person who could use some assistance. The reserve's resident vet has some concerns following your discovery of the dead goat and the wolf tracks. If a wolf strays out of his usual territory and kills a goat but does not feed, it can be an indicator of rabies. It's a worst-case scenario, but we should consider it just in case. There are other potential reasons for this behavior. The thing is, this isn't the first time this has happened. It's not public knowledge, but I feel that now is the time to tell you. My mother's passing was... She was killed in a wolf attack. My father spent days afterwards trying to hunt down the wolf that did it, but ultimately there is no way of knowing. He returned home and hasn't hunted since. I won't let it happen again. We need to establish if this is an isolated case, or if there's a wider problem that we must tackle. First things first, we need a sample from a wolf in its home range. If it turns out to have signs of rabies, we know that we have a problem. If not, then we can adjust our strategy and explore any alternative possibilities. You can still harvest it, but we need the brain, so that we can run some tests. Done. Our vet is offering to work out of hours, so I am hoping to have answers soon. I'll let you know if the tests indicate rabies. If it turns out to be the case, I hope we've caught it early. Please exercise extra caution, and let me know if you find anything out of the ordinary. I am having the strangest day. I just received a call from Sole Santiago, one of my neighbors. She is an olive farmer who has become a de facto representative for most of the people working the land here. She told me that one of our farmers has had his barn broken into, which is strange enough for a barn in the middle of nowhere. What makes it truly bizarre is that this farmer's tractor has had the tires slashed. Apparently, there are footprints that lead from the barn. I know that you weren't planning on chasing any people during your time here, but if you could put your tracking prowess to use, I'd appreciate it. Santiago told me that the farmer who owns the tractor was opening up this morning when he spotted that the lock on the barn was broken. Sometimes neighbors get a little petty and do stupid things, but Armando is such a sweet man. He wakes up early, tends to his crops, and goes home. I can't imagine anybody wanting to do this to him. He seems pretty surprised about it all too. That tractor is definitely out of action. On the plus side, Armando doesn't store anything valuable in there. Be careful. We don't know who left these footprints and what they're capable of. The footprint should be nearby. Armando is an old man, so it's for the best that he didn't go trying to track them down. Hopefully you won't encounter any trouble. I don't know if we're going to find anything, but I'll admit, I'm curious about what's happened here. Once they get back to the road. And look! There's tire tracks here. The tracks were left by something heavy. Take a picture with the footprints and tire tracks inside it and send it to me. To mention that she has been chatting with some of the other farmers. It would appear that news of Armando's tractor and Manuel's lost goat has spread, and is making them nervous. Of course, these two incidents are very different, but it's putting the farmers on edge. Things like this didn't happen when my parents were in charge, I just need to make it clear that we are taking care of things still. One farmer has taken to planting old hunting traps. I don't know if they're hoping to catch a wolf or a vandal, but either way, I want you to remove these traps from my reserve. Design, extremely dangerous, and have a tendency to injure but not cleanly kill the animal that wanders into them. If a person were to somehow be caught in one, I hate to even consider it. Santiago told me that the farmer who placed the traps has gone on vacation with his family. He's shaken. He had apparently spotted something running along the back of his fields at dusk, just as he was about to go home. I can understand his anxiety. Nobody is more concerned about the problems we're all facing than I am. But I wish they'd come to me. Santiago has been a real help, keeping me in the loop about what's going on amongst the farmers. But I fear that she's losing confidence as well. She takes my calls, but I rarely see her anymore.
Quiero decir que subiré los vídeos cada 2 semanas, simplemente por la dificultad que tiene grabar todas las misiones y editarlo todo. No quiero fallar, ¿vale? Dicho esto, me despido de todos vosotros, espero que tengáis una buena semana y que os suscribáis al canal y que nos sigáis un poquito para que veáis todo lo que va a venir, porque va a ser mucho contenido, no solo misiones, no solo... va a ser mucho contenido y más que todo guías que van a ser esenciales para aquellas personas que son nuevas o para los que no son nuevos pero tienen un estilo de caza que no les permite cazar muchos diamantes, ¿vale? Venga, muchas gracias por todo y hasta la próxima.